Hi there, my name is Suze, and I work with women to help them find balance between their internal masculine and feminine energies so that they can have lives that feel really emotionally fulfilling, full of love and connection. So, today I want to talk about the idea of when nothing you are doing seems to be right, it seems to be the right thing, right? That is a train of thought, a trap, the mental trap that I found myself in for quite a few years ago. And I want to tap into it because that can be really vicious. If you are just so frustrated and you feel like you are trying everything possible and nothing you are doing seems to be the right thing, I mean, that's devastating. It's like you're trying so hard and nothing is working. So I want to talk about that today. And I would also recommend that if you found value in this video, and even to create a greater expanded context for this video, I would really recommend you going and see the video that I did before this one. I titled that one People Pleasing and Manifestation. Towards the end of that one, I started tapping into some of the core concepts I will be covering in this video. So if you want a little bit even more expansion out from what I will be talking about here today, do see that video, People Pleasing and Manifestation, to kind of round out the concept. And in that video, I really do get into these ideas from both a masculine and a feminine structure of how these concepts look in the physical world, from both coming from the masculine perspective and also from the feminine energy perspective or state of being. Okay, the wounded masculine, the wounded feminine. So in today's video, again, I want to get into when it feels like everything you're doing, nothing is the right thing, right? The right thing. So I want to reiterate, as I did in my previous video, that the series of videos that I'm working my way into, all of this has to do with mother wounds, feminine wounds in your childhood and in your ancestral line. It's very important to me that I really clarify that, because for so many years of my journey, of my healing journey, like nearly a decade of my journey with my healing, with my ascension, my spiritual awakening, I was really kind of getting angry and kind of sort of blaming the masculine for my issues, and kind of being like, every time something that came up that I noticed had to be addressed and healed, I'd kind of have this undertone internally of being like, ugh, this, a guy did this to me, or a guy made me feel this way, or now that's why I have to deal with this, is because some masculine energy in my past got me here. And it wasn't until many years through my healing journey, after I had worked through a lot of masculine type stuff, that I really came to realize even deeper than that was the mother wounding and the feminine energy wounding, and how much more that was the issue than actually the masculine issue. The masculine wasn't even really the issue. And I'll explain it why. I said it in the other video, I'll say it again here, as I'm kind of getting into a new theme here. Why I say that is because you think, when I say mother wound, you think your mother or maybe your grandmother, but you're forgetting your father also had a mother and a grandmother that affected him, because feminine energy is the emotional energy. So if anyone, male or female, masculine or feminine, does not matter, if anyone had anyone influencing them negatively in their emotional self, that is a feminine wound. And that is literally everyone, because everyone is having issues with emotions, clearly. And everyone is finally being put into a place of recognizing we have some work to do with ourselves emotionally, because we can't keep going on abusing each other in the way that we are, right? It's not working. So anyway, all that to say, let's get back to today's subject. Today's subject, again, falls under that category still of the feminine wound, the mother wound, okay? No blame and judgment on the mothers. I'm a mother of 2 boys myself, and I fall flat on my face emotionally with my children as well. I am not at all saying I've got it figured out. Every parent, every mother is doing the best that they can with the tools and the information that they have been given. And we need to have grace and forgiveness towards all of them. All of that to say, let's get into it. Frustration is the theme, right? Frustration is the theme when you're in that space of feeling like everything you're trying so desperately to do is not working. To really oversimplify it and get to the core of the problem is that you are not being authentic. And what I mean by that, you're not being authentic because you are looking at a situation that you're trying to move in a particular direction, or you're looking at a situation that you want to be different in some kind of way, or you looking at a situation you want a particular outcome. And so you are simply thinking in your head what you can do to move the current situation into another place that you think would be more pleasing or preferable or more happy or would feel better in some kind of a way. The problem with that is you're not being authentic because you're not simply being all that you are. You are molding yourself into a scenario of how you think you need to behave or how you think you need to show up to create an end result that you're looking for that you think is better than what's currently happening. The answer is actually that you're limiting yourself because you're making yourself be in a different kind of a way than you actually are. And the truth of the matter is, if you were being authentic and you were being all that you are, you would naturally create some change on the situation or on the dynamic. Because you're being all of you. If you're only being in a certain way or doing certain things that you think are going to get a particular outcome, you're limiting your entirety of who you are, the fullest expression of who you are. And if you ever come at a situation in the fullest expression of who you are, you will generate some sort of change. But it's very scary because there's a part of you that thinks you can't be all that you are. Because you have a childhood story, you have a feminine mother wound in your past that has told you that being all of you is not acceptable, that being all of you is too much, or that being all of you annoys people, or that being all of you in some way, shape, or form makes someone else uncomfortable, which then therefore makes your environment uncomfortable. So you have to change yourself to make them comfortable so that you can be comfortable. I hope that made sense. Which is really just manipulation. You are manipulating yourself to then try to manipulate the situation to then get a manipulated end result, which clearly is never authentic or true. And if it's not authentic and true, even if you could manipulate an end result that feels like what you think you want, it's not going to be stable, it's not going to be safe, and it's not going to be a foundation that you can actually build off of because it's a manipulated outcome and not an authentic outcome. And you can't maintain it and sustain it because you're only being a fraction of who you are. You're only being the part of you that you think you need to be to get the end result. I hope I am making sense here. If someone can drop some comments and give me some feedback, I would greatly appreciate it. You're not being all of you. That's it. Where am I holding back my fullest expression because I'm afraid if I go full blast on this situation that I will be rejected or I will be abandoned or I will be neglected or I will be judged, misunderstood, shamed? Where am I not going full blast on this thing? And that really is just commitment, which is a whole nother subject for another day. I need to write that down, actually. I need to write that down. Commitment and devotion. I was thinking that earlier and I forgot to write it down as subjects for my YouTube videos. Commitment and devotion. If you really, truly have something in your life that you really, truly want to move in a positive, what you would define as a positive direction, you have to let yourself be all of you. Invest all of your heart energy into it. And then, if you have done that, and then you don't get the positive outcome you're looking for, it's simply not meant for you. But it's never about what's the other person expecting of me. I see this a lot with masculines, right? Because masculines, the wounded masculine aspect is they tend to focus too much on what the woman wants. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. There's a very fine line here. I'm trying to be choosy with my words here. There's a very fine line. Innately, the masculine wants to make the feminine happy, and to an extent, that is a good thing. But part of that is also, is the feminine that you're connected to, is she connected to the divine, to source, to spirit, to universe? Is she looking for you to grow and expand, or is she looking for you to simply serve her egoic needs? Is she looking for you to radically, recklessly blow open your heart to her? Or is she looking for you to become someone she wants you to be so that she can feel better about her egoic sense of self? That's a very tricky thing sometimes to figure out until you've had some experience in discernment. That's discernment, massive discernment. And that's where the feminine's responsibility comes in, of the feminine. And I've done some videos recently on that, about the feminine has to claim the responsibility of, am I inspiring this man into his heart space? Am I inspiring this man to be the fullest, most beautiful extent of the divine masculine that I see the potential for him? Or am I simply trying to get him to change who he is in the physical human place to another different human that just makes me feel better and serves my egoic needs? Huge difference there. Huge difference. So again, it takes both the masculine and the feminine working together here. The masculine and the feminine integrating, working, collaborating together. But if you find yourself in a situation where you feel like you're trying everything and nothing is the right answer, it's because you're trying to please the other person instead of stepping into the fullness of who you truly are. And all that goes back to childhood. All that goes back to childhood. All that goes back to, how did you have to change yourself as a child to make your caregiver more comfortable so that then they could be nice to you, right? In the childish sense, right? How did you have to kind of soften your edges or dilute yourself down or not be so energetic or not be so emotional or not be so needy or not be so whatever the thing is? How did you have to manipulate yourself to emotionally support your parents or parent or whatever the situation was? How did you have to manipulate yourself, or what did you have to do to earn the love of your caregiver, earn the acceptance? What did you have to do to not feel abandoned, rejected, neglected, whatever it is, betrayed, misunderstood? What did you have to do back there? And are you repeating that same energetic stuff in the present day with this? You probably are, if you're getting yourself into that space. The invitation here, the growth here is, where am I denying myself? I'm feeling frustrated because I'm trying too hard instead of being who I truly am. Because frustration is an indication of going too far in the extreme of masculine energy. Frustration is too hard. You're trying too hard. You're pushing too hard, and you're not being all that you are, being all that you are, gathering up all the love and bringing that into the snare instead of trying to force something that isn't authentic, trying to force something. It's that simple, not easy, but it's that simple. I hope this video helped. If any of you would like me to elaborate on any part of this, please do let me know in the comments. I feel like this was a very complex kind of thing for me to try to break down with words. I really struggle with the words sometimes with these energetic concepts and these spiritual concepts. Thank you so much for being here. If you did find value here, I would greatly appreciate it if you would subscribe, like, or comment to really help support my channel, support my message, and get it more visible out into the world so that we can all have some healing that we so desperately need and want at a heart and soul level. Thank you for listening and have a beautiful day.